Welcome to the Runna Podcast. I'm Ben, head coach.
And I'm Anya, international marathon runner. And we're proud to be the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide.
We'll be having truly insightful conversation with truly inspirational guests, as well as bringing you tips and tricks for runners of all abilities.
Today's guest on the podcast needs no introduction. We spoke to the insane Lucy Charles-Barclay. She spoke to us about starting out swimming with the aim to go to the Olympics, but she narrowly missed out and almost gave up sport altogether, but signed up to an Ironman before she really cycled, before she'd run a marathon on a whim, and completely caught the bug.
And from there, she set her sights on trying to become the very best in the world. And she went to the Ironman World Championships in Kona and she came second. And she didn't do this once or twice, but 4 years running, she couldn't quite take that title. And then on the 5th time, she went and won the Ironman World Championship race in Kona with the strongest field of women out there and also set a course record. She's the strongest and the fastest female triathlete in the world. And she has so many interesting stories. You're going to love listening to this episode.
Hi Lucy, how are you? Thank you for coming on.
Hi, yeah, I'm good. Just back from Singapore, so adjusting back to UK time, but much preferring the climate here. So yeah, it's a bit of a nice relief to be back from that heat and humidity for sure.
Yeah, we'll get on to that, but we'll start at the beginning. What got you into moving your body, health and fitness, swimming, running, biking, day one?
Yeah, I think growing up, I was quite a hyperactive child. So my parents thought the best thing would be to get me doing sport. So I was really lucky that they'd take me to the pool. We'd go out on bikes at the weekend and yeah, just try and wear me out any way that they could. And when I was about 8 or 9, I actually joined a swimming club and was completely hooked on like the dedication to training and just wanted to see how far I could get in swimming, and pursued that for a long time, really trying to get into the Olympics, which was the ultimate goal from when I was like 11 and we got the Olympic bid in London. I was like, I just want to get to the home games, and got very close to doing that. I was like basically like 1 or 2 behind getting the qualification in the open water. And after I missed out on getting into the London Games, I almost gave up on sport altogether. I actually ended up working at a wildlife park, which was completely random, but I did enjoy it. But I also just really missed that drive and dedication to sport. So whilst I was working there, my now husband Reece and I decided to sign up for an Ironman just to have a crazy, scary goal to work towards and get us back moving and back into training. So we trained for that together. We did Ironman UK in 2014 and was both just completely hooked on the sport and wanted to see how far we could get in the world of triathlon.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to put it like that. And I appreciate that's years and years summed up into one go. But to have the mindset to be in a place where maybe you haven't done a triathlon before and you're presumably you haven't run a marathon, just to think, oh, I need something to keep me doing, put all this dedication to one purpose and just do an Ironman.
Yeah, I think naivety is bliss. So not really knowing what we'd signed up for was one thing, but also I'd always wanted to do the hardest thing possible within sport. So when I was 9 years old, I decided that 200 butterfly was going to be my event in swimming, because I was like, that's the hardest one. Then I discovered like distance endurance events. I was like, that's even harder because you've got to go for longer, you've got to train more. And that's how I ended up kind of doing the 10K marathon swim. And that's what I was pursuing for the Olympics. And then finding out about Ironman and this event that lasts for like 9-10 hours, or you've got 15 hours to do it. I was like, yeah, that's a bit of me. I want to see how far I can go within this. So yeah, always loved a challenge, but not really knowing what we'd signed up for was a big kind of part of it, and a huge learning curve, like knowing what equipment you need, nutrition that's required. I did think I could do it on a mountain bike initially, but actually I don't think you're allowed to do that. So like getting a road bike and then last minute upgrading to a time trial bike before the event, like there's so many elements to a triathlon, and I think that's also why we loved it, because we were like, there's so many ways we're going to be able to improve over the years as well.
And what is it about picking that like hardest challenge that excites you? Is it the satisfaction when you do this thing that you thought was almost impossible, or is it the way that other people think you're crazy, or like, do you know what it is?
I think it's all of that, like
Yeah.
mixed into one. It's sort of, you're like, actually, can I actually do this? And I remember when Reece and I told our families that we were going to do this Ironman, like Reece's mum was in tears thinking we were going to die doing it. She was like, what, people do this? I was like, yeah, loads of people do this. And my dad had run London Marathon and he was like, but you've never even done a marathon and you're going to do this after swimming that far and cycling that far? Like, you're mad. They fully supported us 100%, but they did just think it was completely bonkers. And it is bonkers when you think about it. It's a crazy thing to kind of just try and do and then end up having it as your career. It is a bit mad, really. But yeah, I've always loved a challenge and doing things that are hard and seeing if you can actually do them.
And your first one was Bolton.
Yes.
How did it go?
Yeah, it went really well, to be honest. Like, my only goal in that was just to finish. So I had no other expectations. I hadn't really looked at finish times. It was just get from A to B and try and do it in a way that you stay healthy, you don't hurt yourself in the process, and just make sure you keep eating, really. But that was the first thing. Like, when we'd signed up for it, I hadn't even thought about nutrition and how you're going to fuel this. It was sort of just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it, because in swimming, even in the 10K, you might have one gel, whereas this is a completely different ball game. But yeah, I think the day went pretty well. Like, I don't think I had any stomach issues or anything like that, so I got quite lucky. Although saying that, I can't remember exactly what nutrition brand I used on that race, but I remember afterwards, like, even the smell of it made me feel sick. So we had to leave that nutrition brand and never use it again. But yeah, I do remember crossing that finish line, and I'd achieved quite a lot in swimming, but I'd never felt the elation I felt of crossing that finish line. And it instantly made me think, I want to do this again. I want to go faster. And I remember going to the awards ceremony after that Ironman, finding out about Kona and the World Championships, and knowing that that's the next goal. I want to qualify. I want to go to Hawaii and do an Ironman. And yeah, I guess that really kicked off the journey.
So many people finish their first Ironman or finish a race and they're like, I am never doing that again. That was horrible. And it takes a few days to come round to the idea of doing that again. Was it instant that you fell in love with it and you knew you were doing it again? Or did you have those few days to kind of forget the pain from those however many hours it took?
Yeah, I think initially when we signed up, we just thought it would be one and done. Reece and I had set up a personal training business at the time. So it was one of those things that we were like, well, we'll be able to tell all of our clients we've done an Ironman. Most of them know what that is. Or if they don't, they're going to Google it and think, well, they must kind of know what they're talking about because they've done this crazy endurance event. But when I finished the race, I feel like I was instantly like, I want to do that again. I mean, I do remember Reece and I were quite sick afterwards. Like, we couldn't eat anything because we just felt so unwell. But there was still kind of that overriding elation that it didn't matter how rubbish you felt. It was like, actually, yeah, I want to feel that again, and I want to do more of these Ironman things.
And then from that point, did you go all in to Kona? At what point did it become your job and you started getting sponsors and started being really competitive?
Yeah, so that was 2014 when we finished Ironman UK, and then the goal was to go back to Ironman UK the following year and get the Kona qualification slot. So the first year we trained well, but we kind of just winged it. So this was like, okay, we're going to dedicate ourselves a bit more, we're going to train a bit smarter, we're going to look into nutrition, we're going to make equipment upgrades and see how much quicker we could go. And I think in the year I took over an hour off of my time, qualified for Kona, went to Kona and managed to win my age group. And then kind of after that, I was like, I don't really think there's anything left to do as an amateur. Like, probably could try and go professional. Applied for my pro license, which was actually rejected from British Triathlon. So it was a lengthy process. We appealed it and they basically gave me the license on a trial basis. But I did have an email at the time that said I'll never come close to Daniela Reef, who was the current reigning world champion in the professional ranks. And for me, I like saved that email to my desktop and was like, right, this is the goal. I want to be like the world champion as a professional. So I think that really drove me to kind of push this as a professional career, whereas initially it was just about finishing Ironmans, and I was like, right, I'm going to see how far I can get within this sport. So it kind of skyrocketed the journey, definitely.
Do you think you're motivated by, like, when you said you didn't quite qualify for the Olympics for swimming and then being told you're never going to make it, like with Ironman, does that motivate you, trying to prove people wrong and prove yourself wrong, maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely quite a big motivating factor when someone says I can't do something. It's like, right, well, I'm definitely going to do it then. I think over the years I've also tried to be more intrinsically motivated as well and set my own goals because I want to achieve it. But there is this extra satisfaction when someone says you can't do something and then you manage to do it, for sure.
And have you continued to enjoy sport in the same way when now it is your job, your satisfaction is driven by the achievement that you get, the position you place, and now you run and you cycle and you swim and you do all your gym because you need to achieve those goals? Or do you still get the same endorphins and happiness every day from exercising?
Yeah, I think sometimes you are struggling. Like, so it's not always every single day you get out of bed, you jump out of bed and you're like, yes, this is the best job ever. Like, I can't wait to train, especially when it's 5 a.m. alarms to go swimming, which I feel like I've done that for my entire life. And I'm like, why am I still doing this? But then when you start to see big gains and progress and you're like, actually, I've been doing sport my whole life and I'm still getting better, then it is quite a big kind of endorphin boost and you do feel elated from training. So I'd say you don't get that every day, but I'd say like every couple of weeks there'll be a session that is like a breakthrough session and you're like, wow, I'm still like in my 30s and I'm making huge progress within sport.
Because I think that is the same sensation that people getting into running or getting into any sport have as well. Like, no one wakes up every day for their doing 5k training plan and thinks, I'm so excited to get out the door and run. And like, sometimes they'll see progress in their training and then they'll be happy. And it's like, it's so interesting you can kind of connect that. It's the same for all ends of the spectrum, and you are doing the best in the world, and yet you still can kind of view things probably in a very similar way to everyone. I think that's what can make sport such a amazing thing, is we're all in the same boat together. We're just at a different step on that journey, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't matter what level you're doing sport at. It's all about not comparing yourself to other people, having your own goals, and when you're ticking them off, being proud of yourself that you've got there and you're making progress in your own sporting world. I also think it's important that over the years, I've had a lot of highs and lows with injuries, and I've progressed massively in training, got myself to the best shape I've ever been, and then got injured and not got to show it on a race course. And I've tried to still be proud of the work that I put in, even though I didn't get to show it to the world, and knowing that I did that and I got myself into this shape, and one day I'm going to get to then show that to the world. But it is tough, especially when injuries happen, sort of navigating that. But
I think that's building that intrinsic motivation, which is that it's not all about how many pats on the back you get, Instagram likes and medals. It's actually about like the hard work you do and what that means for your sense of achievement. Yeah,
definitely. Just being proud of the journey, proud of the work that you put in, and knowing that ultimately it's great for your health and well-being anyway, if you can just enjoy it, even if you don't get to go and do the performance on the race course.
How have you been that mentally strong, do you think? Do you put a lot into like mental training? Because we'll talk about it, but you came second at Kona 4 times before you became Ironman world champion. Like, that must take so much mental grit and resilience to keep fighting for that.
Yeah, I think coming from a swim background gave me a lot of mental toughness. Like, it's a really, really tough sport with early mornings, going to school all day, then coming back, going in the gym, swimming again, like following the black line in the pool. There's not a lot of social interaction in that sport. And then also competing at a really high level, but there's very little reward in that sport. So it gives you a lot of mental resilience. And for a long time, even when I came into triathlon, I was like, I don't need support on the like psychology side. I don't need any of that because I'm mentally really tough. But actually last year was the first year I started working with a mental coach, because I just felt like the injuries were really taking their toll on me, like just putting in all the work and then not getting to go and show it. And then obviously with Kona coming second 4 times, the first time it was unbelievable. Like, it was a breakthrough race. I couldn't believe it. It felt like I had one coming second. And then I went away and was like, but there's so many things I can improve. Like, I definitely can win this. And then to come second again, it was like, okay, well, that's 2 second places in the world. It's amazing, but surely like next time I'm going to win it. And then the third time coming second, that got a little bit more tough, because it was like every year I'd made so much progress, but I was still getting the same outcome. Then we had a pandemic, so it felt like a really long wait to go back and try and win. We didn't get to go back for 2 years. In that time, I won a world title on the half Ironman, but it wasn't the one I wanted on the full Ironman. So then 2 years later, going back to Hawaii and coming second again, I'd had a really big injury that year. So it should have been like a win to come and get that second place. It did feel like that to me, but the rest of the world was like, she's never going to win this. Like, she's the bridesmaid permanently. She's always going to be second. And that was really, really tough. But it also, those kind of voices were getting louder, which then did motivate me a bit more because I just wanted to prove them wrong. So to then go back and finally get the win, and in the way that I did it, leading into the race, I was already written off. No one said that I was even going to make the podium. And they'd said it's the strongest female field ever assembled. So I was like, if there's ever going to be a time to win it, it has to be this year. Like, no one thinks I'm going to do it. And then to win it gun to tape in the fastest time ever was just completely unbelievable. And I think if I hadn't have had the injury that occurred in the race, where I basically tore my entire calf on that marathon, I think I possibly could have been like, I feel like I've done it, I've achieved it all, I've won this. And I possibly could have retired at that point. But for me, I was like, I know I can go faster. I ran the whole marathon with a torn calf. Like, there's definitely more to come. So for me, it motivated me to continue because I was like, I think I can go faster and hopefully win this title again, but in a more enjoyable way than how I had to suffer for so long. So yeah, I'm still here. I'm still doing this.
Was there ever a moment over those, not 4 years, but a longer period than 4 years, where you like believed the haters, or like you thought maybe you wouldn't do it, or were you always certain that you could get it?
Yeah, I think the world that we live in now with social media, the voices of the haters do get louder, and they do definitely creep in, and you do question yourself. You're like, oh, maybe my best days are behind me, or I've had so many injuries now, maybe my body just can't do this anymore. And it can be really tough. But then I had to kind of sit down, look at the training I'd done and be like, yeah, but I am still progressing forward. Look at the numbers I'm producing in training. Like, if I can do that on the race course, no one can beat me. So you have to kind of, I found it really important to kind of start journaling what I was doing. And that was one of the main things. The mental coach that I worked with, he was like, you need to strip it back, and each day set yourself 3 goals that you want to achieve. And then at the end of the day, write down what you did achieve, and kind of just make it really black and white and not about what the bigger picture is of trying to win a world title. And I think that really helped me kind of take the pressure off, and also just reflect on the progress I was making every single day. And he would say, you want to try and have a gold medal day as many days as you can, and just be proud of that and proud of the journey. And then no matter what the outcome, know that you're just incredibly proud of the work that you did. And I think that for me, now going into every race, I do feel a lot less pressure because I'm just proud that I'm there, and then the outcome is a bonus.
And I guess you won arguably the hardest and most impressive race in the world with what you said was the most stacked female field, yet you also still believe you can do it even better? Like, do you still believe that since then, and is training continuing to move in a positive direction?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I won that race, I didn't actually know that I had celiac disease, which I found out last year. So I'm like, well, I've achieved quite a lot in my career without knowing that I even had this condition. So I already feel a lot stronger. I feel a lot more confident in my body, and my main goal is to just stay healthy. I feel like over the last few years, my training has been so up and down with doing amazing blocks of training, then getting injured, having to have loads of time off. And it's like this roller coaster where training peaks is like rocketing up, then dropping down, and just following that training load and just seeing how inconsistent I've been over the years. So actually this year, I haven't done anything mad. Like, I haven't done anything that I would consider like hero training. I've just been really consistent, and I'm excited to see how that will develop over the year if I can just stay healthy. And hopefully I can do a much better performance in Kona this year.
Well, it also seems completely feasible and possible when you look at the typical trajectory of an Ironman or an Ironwoman athlete. The peak is often after the age of 35. And with that in mind, you're so young in this sport that it seems like the sky really is the limit.
Yeah, I mean, I first went to Kona, I think I had just turned 24 when I was second. So even then I was like, I should be able to have a long career doing this. But then with the injuries I'd had over the years, I was sort of questioning, or maybe I did come into this too young and my body can't take it. But yeah, the normal kind of timeline for racing for female athletes is like mid-30s, you hit your peak. So I'm hoping that's still going to happen for me, and we can see, that progress continue over the next few years.
What did it really take to become Ironman world champion? I remember seeing like loads of your YouTube videos of you being in like your pain cave. How hard was it?
Yeah, it was really brutal, and I think I also decided to do it in the most brutal way the year that I won. I did my final 6 weeks of preparation for Kona in London, which, as you know, the climate in London is not the same as Hawaii. So I think during that 6-week block, I probably cycled outside maybe once, and I was doing over 15 hours of cycling a week, so pretty much all indoors, looking at the four walls, making it hot and humid like Hawaii, training every single morning. So I was up at 5 a.m. like every morning for 6 weeks, and I actually did that block just swimming on my own as well. So mentally that was quite tough, but I think the block itself was so challenging, but mentally I was like, I've worked so hard here, and the race isn't going to be as mentally challenging as the training was itself. So when I arrived in Kona, I just felt really relaxed. It was quite strange. I just felt like, well, I could not have done any more work for this, and whatever happens, happens. Would I go back and do that block again? No. And I did say to myself, like, if this doesn't work, if I don't win this time, I don't think I could do that work again. I never would do it again. Like this year, I'm definitely not doing my Kona block in London. I'll probably go somewhere sunny and warm and do it there, because that was really, really challenging.
I guess for those who don't know, and I think Annie and I have both watched it on your YouTube videos and seen the behind the scenes of the Pain Cave. What is your Pain Cave, and tell us about the setup?
Yeah, so the Pain Cave is actually at my in-laws' house. So Reece's dad used to be a professional boxer, so he built this outbuilding. Reece was about 10 when they built it, so he was helping you like carry bricks up to build it, and it was a real like old school spit and sawdust. There's a boxing ring in there. And then over the years, Reece and I initially took it over to do our personal training. So we would get a bit more equipment in there, have our clients come. And then as we got more and more involved in triathlon, it basically became like this elite performance centre for triathlon. We have an endless pool in there. We have treadmills. We have all the gym equipment. We've got our Zwift setups with the bikes. So basically everything you need for triathlon is in there. Actually, during the pandemic, we moved in there and lived in there for about 8 weeks, so we could still do all of our training. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like if anyone comes and sees it, it's a bit of a TARDIS as well. Like from the outside, it doesn't look like anything, and then they're like, wow, you've literally got everything you need to be a triathlete in here. So very fortunate to have that. And we've now got the pictures on the wall of us winning the major races, and it kind of, you go in there and you go to work and you get it done. But yeah, very lucky to have that space.
So I guess like that's been a big through line in your training. And I guess the other one is Reece. Tell us about your best training partner.
Yeah, so Reece and I met back when we were swimming. He was studying sports science at university, and I was on the elite swim team that kind of all swam together. And together we kind of ventured into this triathlon journey, both signing up for an Ironman together. Luckily, he had so much knowledge from sports science that he kind of helped us the whole way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had a clue about fueling the race or anything like that. So he would do all the research, and it kind of, my trajectory in sport, he saw it straight away and was like, I think you can be one of the best in the world. So he kind of put his own career to the side really to support me. So it's been an amazing team that we have together. He just is always looking at the next way I can improve, and he's like, Lucy, I found this, I've developed this. And even this year he spent months looking at how I could get faster aerodynamically, and just the gains that we've made this year is incredible, and it's all thanks to him. So we are an incredible team, and he is just so selfless in the way that he supports me, but I know he gets so much satisfaction from seeing me winning and doing well. So yeah, it's amazing.
How is it being a female in the world of triathlon? Like, obviously like endurance sport, like women like weren't allowed to do that, and people thought a uterus would fall out if we ran a marathon, and then you're doing things that most men could never ever do. How is that? How is the world of being a female in Ironman?
Yeah, I find it very motivating. I feel like I kind of came in like a wrecking ball to the world of Ironman and was like, women's sport, like really trying to push it. And obviously with the Battle Braid movement that I've got, and just inspiring women to come into this world. And I think as we've learned over the years that actually female athletes are so in tune with endurance, and we can outperform men over the longer distance. The longer it goes on, the better we perform. So yeah, I really hope that I've kind of built a platform where I can inspire more female athletes to get into triathlon, to try Ironman, in what is definitely a male dominated world. I mean, there's still way more men doing endurance, doing triathlon, but we see more and more women coming in, and it's really amazing to see.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. What is next for you?
So coming up next, I'm going to race Ironman Lanzarote, which is really cool because I train out in Lanzarote a lot at Club La Santa. They're one of the big sponsors that really are invaluable to me because it's just probably one of the best places to go and train in the world. So to go back and do that Ironman, which was my first pro Ironman race. The first year I did it, I came third, which was a real breakthrough race for me. And then the second year I went back and won it. So just to go back and do that will be special. I only have to finish to validate for the World Championships in Kona. So I am under quite strict orders from Reece to not go mad, get through it, because I've got a lot more racing to do this season. So yeah, hopefully I can just enjoy it and have a fun day out. But I know what I'm like. I am competitive as well. So we'll have to see what happens there.
And do you know the number of Ironman distances that you've completed now?
Oh, off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd say it's more than 20. Over the last few years, I've done a few less. Like I've probably only done one a year.
Yeah.
Or I did 2 last year. Well, I actually only finished 1. I was signed up for 2. But yeah, I'd say it is probably more than 20. I came into the sport in 2014. So yeah, I've been doing it for about 10 years. So
one of the things I thought I would try and do, so I did my first at 22, and then I did basically 2 a year, and I thought I want to try and do more Ironmans than I am old.
Okay.
I've now been busy and I do 1 a year. Unfortunately, and I'm at 8 and I'm 29, so I'm a long way off. And I think if I do 2 a year every year, I'll break it at 50. But you're really close. Do you think you'll beat the number of Ironman distances than you are old ever?
I don't know. I mean, possibly. I mean, if I want to do the Pro Series at any point, you have to do 3 Ironmans to be competitive within that. So if I start doing 3 a year, I'm going to quite quickly get ahead of that. But yeah, I think we'll just see how it goes. Like I said, the main goal for me over the next couple of years is to just try and stay healthy and injury free. So we're trying to be a bit smarter and not overdo it. Yeah. But yeah, I do love the satisfaction of doing an Ironman, and you kind of do get hooked on that. Like, you're like, oh, maybe I should just do another one. So yeah, we'll have to see.
And so you mentioned that you signed up for 2 and then you finished 1. One of your catchphrases that I've always had in the back of my head when I've been doing my Ironmans is "death before DNF." Tell us about that, and do you still abide by that motto?
Yeah, that was definitely, it came from my dad, that. So my dad, he played football when he was growing up. He ran London Marathon and his knees are completely shot. But my mum didn't do sport growing up, so she's kind of got into running later in life, and she is incredible at it. Like, I feel like probably my talent for sport actually came from my mum, even though she didn't do it growing up. So my dad is constantly trying to keep up with my mum. He makes her, she goes out running every day. He joins her, even though he's in pain. So he's like, death before DNF. It doesn't matter how much it hurts, I'm going to do it. Like, does part run every single week. And I think that's definitely ingrained in me. But also over the last few years, I think what I went through in Kona was horrific. It turned out well because I got the world title, but I think now I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a little bit smarter. Like, if I feel like I'm going to damage myself beyond repair, then I'm probably going to step off the race course so that I've got more racing in me. If it just hurts a lot, like in Singapore, it hurts so much. The climate was ridiculous, but I was like, there's no way I'm not finishing this race today. I think especially after having so much time off racing, it was like, I owe it to myself to finish. But yeah, there's a fine line sometimes when you're racing. It's like, should I push through this? Yeah, most of the time it's going to be yes, but yeah, just trying to be a bit smarter with it as well.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And I guess then looking ahead, like, what is your ultimate goal? You've become the fastest woman in the world at the hardest race, but what do you want to achieve before you retire from professional sport?
Yeah, I think my ultimate goal was winning the Ironman World Championships. And when I was in that race and in so much pain on the run course, I was like, if this is the last race I ever do, I'm going to win it. And then everything else now does feel like a bit of a bonus. And I know I can go faster. So I think that's what keeps driving me forward, knowing that I still believe I could win that race in an even more epic fashion. So yeah, I think also just knowing that you're still achieving things, you're still pushing forward, you're still making progress, that keeps me in the sport, because it's like, actually, I feel like I've still got more that I can show the world, which is exciting. And until I don't enjoy it anymore, I'll probably keep doing it.
Well, you've got such a bubble of energy. Like, do you love it as much as you did when you did that first one?
I think so. I mean, I've been through a hell of a lot since then, and every time I've had an injury, I feel like it's really knocked me back. Each one, it's been a little bit worse, but I feel in a really good place this year. I do feel like a different person. I think there was someone said to me in Singapore, I feel like you've brought a different energy to racing this year. You've got a bit more sass or something like that. And I was like, I think just because what I've been through, like, it can't be worse than what I experienced last year. So I'm just going to come here, be the most authentic version of myself, and just see what comes with that.
If I was a woman at the top of triathlon hearing you say all of these things, I'd be very scared.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're not going to do an Alex Sheeran come to London Marathon? I know, like, Beth Potter's been running. Kat Matthews did a 5K the other week.
Yeah, I think all of us, I mean, triathlon, we're performing at an extremely high level in each individual sport. So even for me, I think it was 2021, I was trying to make the Olympics in swimming. And all of us have our, like, unique talents within each individual sport. You had Taylor Knibb went to the Olympics for time trial. So all of us know that we could be highly competitive in each individual sport. And it's a really difficult balance, because I have done London Marathon once before, absolutely loved it. I did a decent time, and you know that if you just committed a little bit more to that individual sport, you probably could do even better. I think all of those things are quite cool for, like, towards the end of our career, to dip our toe into different things, and it keeps you motivated in your training to have slightly different goals.
Yeah. No, we wish you the best of luck for everything coming up.
Yeah, let's segue over to Steph for our coaching tip of the week.
My tip today will hopefully help those who feel unsafe when out running alone. First of all, let someone know that you're heading out for a run, and even share your location so they can track you along the way. Wear bright and reflective clothing so you can always be seen, and try and stick to busier paths and routes where there are other people around. If you're running on uneven terrain or it's late at night, then try and take a torch with you so you can see where you're going. You really want to avoid twisting an ankle. These are just a few pointers that will maybe help you feel that little bit more confident when out running outside alone.
Thanks for that, Steph. I'm going to bring us back with our coaching discussion of the week sent in from one of our listeners. Many people are put off from the triathlon because of the swimming aspect. Do you think swimming history is essential, or is it possible to learn how to swim competitively in races? And what would be your top tips?
Yeah, I think on that, you can take comfort in most people that come into triathlon do not have a background in swimming, and it's the bit that they're most anxious about. So everyone on the start line, I think their main concern is like, just get through the swim, and then I've got the good bits that are the bike and the run. I definitely see people massively improving their swim, but my top tip would just be get a swim coach, get someone to come and look at you, look at your technique, because swim is so technique focused, and a lot of us put so much work into swimming, but we're swimming with really bad technique. Like, even when I don't swim with Reece, who annoyingly is a really good swimmer, technically so good, my swimming goes backwards, and then I get in with him who hasn't swam at all, and he's just thrashing me because his technique's better. So then he'll be like, Lucy, you just need to tweak this, do this, and then I'm swimming like so much faster. So yeah, just get a really good swim coach to have a look at you, or even get someone to film you and send it off to someone that's got some knowledge in swimming, and it will really help you. And then on the other side of that, definitely do some open water swim practice before the triathlon, because it is so different to swimming in a pool, and you just need to get confident in the open water, because I think that's where people can panic as well. Get used to people swimming around you, because again, you're quite anxious when you're just literally in the washing machine when the race starts. So yeah, all of those things will help, but I definitely think you can improve your swim with just small technical changes.
I mean, I also resonate to the question, because I'm a relatively poor swimmer compared to cycling and running. And I think for amateurs and for people looking to complete the distance often, and get better over time, so long as you can kind of like complete the swim, which maybe takes an hour and a bit for full Ironman, you're going to make a lot more like objective progress by improving your cycling and your swimming more. Like, imagine you swim for an hour and a half, you then cycle for 6 hours and you run for 4.
Yeah.
If you can make a 10% gain on your bike, that's 60 minutes. No, that's not 60 minutes. It's 40 minutes or so. That's that's almost 4 times more or 6 times more effective than the same gain of swimming. So when it's like trying to improve for your second Ironman or whatever, often you can see more time gained by focusing on those other ones. And then the way I relate it, which is probably not to be a world champion, but just to be a happy person, a happy, healthy person who enjoys being a bit competitive, probably work out which of the 3 you enjoy training the most at, and then you can get better at that. And probably if you love the swimming the most, focus at the most, especially where a lot of probably people out there listening can't become or devote their whole life to the 3 things in the same way. But no, very much resonate with that. I guess attached, do you think that someone who didn't swim as a junior and doesn't have like flawless technique can get to the same standard by working with a coach in later life?
You can definitely improve massively just from getting the technical cues. And like you said, fortunately for non-swimmers, the swim is the smallest bit in the triathlon. So doing it in a way that you can just get through it confidently and then know that you've got the bike and run coming up, you can take comfort in that. For me, it's super frustrating because the swim is my best bit and it's over so quickly. But yeah, just small technical changes will make a big difference. And actually, it doesn't always need to be in the pool either. By doing like core stability training, strength and conditioning out of the water, and then when you get back in the pool, you'll sit so much higher in the water, you'll be more efficient. So there's ways that you can improve your swim without even having to go to the pool as well. I also think with the swim, you're better off doing like smaller sessions but more regularly than doing like 2 massive swims a week, because that regular exposure to redoing the technique, the muscle memory will make a lot bigger difference. So yeah, more times to the pool, but you haven't got to swim for so long.
That's actually great to know. I always like don't enjoy it as much in the same way because it's maybe a bit more boring. You can't see the outside world, you can see the bottom of a concrete pool. So bolting on a shorter swim twice a week after the gym maybe seems more palatable than a longer swim once a week. No, great advice. I guess attached to that we have our this or that. So our first one, with swimming, cycling and running, you can snog, marry and avoid. What are your 3?
Oh, I would probably avoid swimming because it's just, I've done it too long, so I'm bored of that. So avoid. And I know,
wow, I thought this is. I'm shocked.
And I know I could probably get away with avoiding it as well. I would probably marry cycling because it usually is my favourite. But like most married couples will bicker as well, and the bickering side will be like when the bike goes wrong mechanically. Because that can be really annoying. And then I would probably snog running because when it's great, it's really great. And when it's bad, it's not so good. But yeah.
Wow, that it surprises me, but makes perfect sense. Okay, would you rather in your next triathlon do the entire bike leg without your bike shoes, or the whole swim leg without your goggles?
Oh. I mean, I really hate swimming without goggles, but I feel like I could kind of forgo that discipline and just try and get through it without the goggles. But the bike is so long that I actually don't think I could run after if I didn't have the bike shoes on. So yeah, I'll just get rid of the goggles. And
are you then swimming like a grandma with your head above the water, or are you open eyes, just bleeding out your eyes and super sore eyes?
I mean, if it's salt water, I feel like you're not going to put your eyes open in the water, so it'd probably be just head up, granny breaststroke for the whole swim. It'd be quite brutal.
Big fun fact.
Okay, so this one's a bit more niche. We're aware that you're a big fan of your spaghetti bolognese and your chicken curry. So would you rather one of them you have to never eat again?
Okay.
The other one has to be your entire fuel for your next triathlon, but then you can have it again. So which one are you avoiding and which one is fuel for your next triathlon? And then you can keep forever.
Oh, that's really difficult. I would probably have to avoid the spaghetti bolognese. I just don't
know. Is this
know.
because it's like practically harder to eat on the go, or
potentially? I feel like the spaghetti and trying to eat that on the bike, and just the mincemeat and the sauce would be so heavy to then run after. I feel like it would be a disaster. I mean, I don't think the curry would be much better if it's like a non-spicy curry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel
also, I feel like spaghetti bolognese is messier. Like, you'll probably get it all over your face and like ruin your tri-suit.
Yeah, I feel like both would be quite messy.
Yeah.
Both would end up in your tri-suit not looking its best.
It's the sort of thing they'd have in an Ironman, like,
'cause
aid station. They
bring
have
out-
such good
Am I
like,
right in thinking
food
the
and
pizza
drinks.
comes out at, if you're running, so if your Ironman takes over 12 hours and they bring out the pizza, so you're actually really unfortunate for being so fast. You miss out on
and
the
I
pizza
think
aid stations.
they bring out like chicken broth or things like that later in the day, which like is warm and salty.
You could do another lap next time if you get
Just
hungry.
go back round to get the
go
food.
round again.
Yeah, make the
Good.
most, get your money's worth. Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up with our final closing question. You're designing your dream race. What is the event? Where is it? What food and drink is being served at the finish line? And who's going to present you with your award?
Oh, I mean, I do love triathlons. So I feel like it needs to be like a hybrid version of a triathlon. I feel like I've never raced in Italy, but Reece has actually, and he said it was the best food he's ever had. So I feel like the aid stations would be amazing in Italy, and you could have like ice cream at the finish. So we'd go somewhere in Italy. I feel like I'd want to kayak instead of swim, just because you can probably eat more just sat in the boat. Then I would probably come out, and I feel like I'd still want to bike, but have like everyone has to have a basket on the front, so I could have my dogs in the basket, all the snacks, and yeah, just be like cycling around the nice Italian coastal roads. And then we'd still run, but it would be a canicross run. So my dogs would come out of the basket, and then I could canicross with
You
them.
could have your dogs in the kayak
Yeah.
into the basket with you. So it's like the Scandinavian swim runs where you're bound to your partner.
Yeah, but they're
you
dogs.
must take your dog through your triathlon.
Amazing.
Do you think it's Lola
And Pickle.
and Pickle?
Yes.
Can they keep up with you, or like would they need to do more training for this triathlon, or would you?
I feel like they've got more energy than me anyway,
Okay.
and they're better runners than me anyway. They love running with us already, so they wouldn't need to do much more training. I'd probably just have to train them to like sit still in the bike for long enough so that then they have got the energy for the run, because they're not very good at judging their efforts. When we go for a run, they start off mental and then like slowly taper off in their energy towards the end. But yeah, I think I could
And would
train
you
them.
get them their own kind of like Garmin watch equivalent and get them on their Strava upload as well?
This
Because
is
there's probably a
something-
few qualms for them to get,
Yes.
right?
This is actually something that I want to do, is particularly with Lola, because when we run with her, she can be off lead because she's trusted to come back, but she must run so much further than us. So I definitely want to put a watch on her, look at the top speed she's getting, make her her own Strava account and just track what she's doing. I know there's two triathletes, Eric and Paula, and they've got a dog called Flynn, and he has got his own Strava account. So I feel like Lola and Pickle could compete with Flynn on like the dog Strava side. So.
Well, because I've seen Lola's Instagram account, so I'm sure you could then get the Strava going as well.
I think she'd be quite popular, definitely.
Wow! So you finished this incredible. I mean, I would quite like to do this event. So we've got the ice cream at the finish line, and we've had some. What are we getting on the course? Are we getting any pizzas or pastas, or is
think,
it more
well,
serious nutritional?
I
on the
feel
go?
like it needs to be like the pure Italian pizza, pasta. Obviously, I'd need a gluten-free version
Yeah.
for me, so we'd cater to the gluten-free people. I know they do good coffee there as well, so probably coffee on the aid stations. Yeah, so real Italian theme. I mean, they can give ice cream out on the course as well to keep you cool.
And
Nice.
dog food, I think.
And the dog treats
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, got to fuel them up
Yeah.
as well.
And so this you finish. You've got your ice cream. Who's giving you your award of this doing fantastic event?
Oh, now this is, I feel like I've got a few heroes, but do we go for like a sporting hero or like completely non-sporting? I feel like someone like Ed Sheeran to give me my medal, I'd probably just like die on the spot. So that would be cool.
Nice. I feel like we should make this happen. I think it would be a sellout instantaneously.
Dogs and Ed Sheeran, what's more to love? Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd give me my medal at the end of
Aw.
my dream race. Actually, you did. You
I
did it in Dubai.
Yes, yeah. We've already made it happen. I can do it again though.
Wow. Well, I think, Lucy, it's been incredible to, first of all, observe your journey over the last, 10 plus years. I think you've inspired so many, and I can also speak firsthand for my little sister who did her first Ironman with her battle braids in.
Incredible.
I wish you the biggest of luck on all of your incredible aspirations, and I hope you go and smash Kona even faster and even stronger and everything else into the future. And thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Today's podcast is powered by Runna. Runna is the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide. And whatever your running goal, whether you're looking to do your first 5K, improve your time over the 10K, or even run a marathon or an ultra marathon, we'll build you the personalized training for you to help you get there and enjoy the process along the way. If you want to download the Runna app, you'll get 2 weeks for free with code podcast25. And if you're already a Runna customer, you can head to the premium offers section where we've got a 15% off discount for you off any of our Runna merchandise.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, subscribe. And if you loved it, give us a 5-star rating. And we'll be back next week with another inspiring guest. See you then.